Hello everyone, welcome back to Gospel News, where we give you updates on as it take the go. We know the lag for the matter. We dey go straight to the reason why we are here without wasting your time. They said that the governor of Anambra State, which is Governor Chukwuma Soludo, has again called on the failed president of Nigeria, what they call Muhammadu Buhari, say make he release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, which is Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu. He say make he revamp because himself he dey grant amnesty to Boko Haram terrorists, say make they enter the city again, go they disturb. But Nnamdi Kanu, who is only seeking for referendum and the freedom of his people, say that the man has been incarcerated and detained in the most inhuman conditions. When anybody see or think of in Nigeria. You granted amnesty to repentant Boko Haram terrorists. Southeast beckons. Release Nnamdi Kanu to me before May 29th. Governor Soludo writes Buhari, make you do this thing. That's a pressure on this Buhari. You know that we don't have time again. Today is the 26th. And we just have about 2 to 3 days before the swearing-in ceremony will take place for Eagle Square for Abuja. Buhari release Nnamdi Kanu so that Amadioha will not visit you in Daura or Niger Republic. Anywhere where you want wrong go, you know they hear something. As in Ijijinadia, Anuihene Suzu Alanimili. That is what Buhari is doing at this point in time. And then this man, where they say I'm the education minister, all these ones will be say they don't know anything, where they pack and give for not, based on tribalism and intimidation against the qualified real people. He has come out to confess that he knew nothing about education sector when Buhari made him education minister. Adamu confesses. So now they say, now be waiting. How will the country move forward when you are giving positions to people who knows nothing about, unqualified people? That is what this government of APC and the Fulani is doing in Nigeria. Whether it suits you or not, take it because you are a northerner. That is the most important thing. Fulani is holding almost every position in Nigeria as I speak to you today. Now them they manage Nigeria. Anything we then decide, now it go happen to you. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has written to President Muhammadu Buhari appealing for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. The letter dated April 20th, 2023 is titled Passionate Appeal for the Urgent Release of Mazi and copied to the President-elect Bola Tinubu and the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. In the letter, Governor Soludo appealed to Buhari to release the separatist leader to him personally before he hands over power to Tinubu on May 29th, even it will be on bail, adding that he would vouch that Nnamdi Kanu will be presented to court when needed. Commending the Buhari government for granting amnesty to repentant Boko Haram terrorists in northeast Nigeria, Soludo said it was time to extend the same grace to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I said, yes, I agree with him 100%. He said if releasing Kanu unconditionally is untenable, he should be granted administrative bail on compassionate grounds. He wrote, in the light of the foregoing, it is my earnest prayer that Mr. President may kindly consider the immediate and unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as demanded by the United Nations Human Rights Council and the Federal High Court in Abuja. This will be the right thing to do as a country that should extol the principles of the rule of law and in compliance with the international law and conventions that Nigeria is a signatory to. All these things has been avoided by this failed president, even though he knows that they are violating what they signed to abide by. These people cannot abide by a single rule. No, just take a listen. No wonder Fulanis are killing people up and down. You can see that. You know that killing is not a good thing, whether biblical or spiritual or physical, in whatever guise or manner. You know that that is not a part of the ways of living. But these people does not care. You can imagine a tribe that will go into a community that they knows nothing about and wipe out that community. So why would they listen to a call for justice, a call for free and fair equality? What would I call it? Eh? How do you think that they will listen? So all these calls you guys are making are falling on deaf ears. And as far as I know, these Oponko in Asorok Buhari will not adhere or hearken to them. That is their modus operandi, and that is how they behave. We have known them. This is not the first time we are, knowing this president to be behaving like this. It's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. According to what Governor Soludo said, he said, alternatively, if there are persisting grounds that makes his unconditional release untenable, Mr. President may consider granting him administrative bail on compassionate grounds and as a part of the national healing process and creating a conducive atmosphere for a political solution. Now, let me give you one of the reasons Buhari might not listen or hearken to these voices of truth. Now, the thing is that even the governor who is Governor Soludo, who is in charge of Anambra State as a Nigerian, Buhari does not see him as a Nigerianist. Buhari sees him as a Biafran. Buhari sees him as an Igbo man. These two things are working together. You see Igbo, you see Biafran. Those things bite the ears of Fulani, and anytime you are writing to them, they get more angry because they know that you are an Igbo man, and there is an inbuilt quest for Biafra. Even Soludo himself, who is sitting there, he knows, but based on the consequences, he will not come out in the open to, talk these things. They will pretend as if it doesn't work, it's not existing, it is none of their business. But deep down inside them, they want this Biafra. Believe me, Soludo himself wants Biafra to come today, tomorrow. But how to go about it is a problem. But of course, you know that somebody must become the governor. Somebody must take these positions. As far as we are still in Nigeria, only external force can force everybody into the Biafra, by fire, by force. That's the only thing I know about it. In this circumstance, I am prepared to take him on bail, says Soludo. My government is prepared to provide him with an alternative secured accommodation in Oka, where he will have access to appropriate medical care, among others, and make him available when required. This will help to dose tensions in the southeast and pave the way for constructive discussions towards progress. We commend your effort in the northeast, especially in granting amnesty and the rehabilitation for repentant Boko Haram operatives. The southeast beckons, and I am confident that you can still do something historic within the remaining days of your tenure. Mr. President, I am available for a meeting, if need be, at your earliest convenience to discuss any or all of the prayers above. God has been merciful to you over your entire life, especially during the past 8 years. As you shepherd a transition process to hand over to your successor, you might as well help to smoothen his easy takeoff by resolving some of the lingering issues, such as Nnamdi Kanu's detention. I therefore respectfully call on you as a statesman to discharge a historic show of mercy and release Nnamdi Kanu before you hand over on May 29, 2023. According to Soludo, Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration has worsened insecurity in the southeast. He lamented that Kanu had got 2 favorable court judgments ordering his release. He said, however, up to this moment and going on to nearly 2 years, the trial has stalled and lingered on the court with no end in sight. Without meaning to delve into the merit of his case, it is pertinent to point out that Nnamdi Kanu has gotten 2 rulings in the court ordering his release from detention. It is also my understanding that the federal government has secured a stay of execution of one of these rulings and is also appealing to the same. One of the court rulings for his release remains unchallenged and or subsisting. In July 2022, the United Nations Human Rights Council issued an opinion calling on the federal government to release him unconditionally. In the meantime, the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu has created what, for want of a better description, can be seen as systematic insecurity in the southeast. Some supporters of Nnamdi Kanu have imposed the obnoxious and harmful sit-at-home order every Monday in the southeast, while all manner of criminal gangs, kidnappers, bandits, armed robbers, etc. now masquerade as freedom fighters or those fighting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The human toll in terms of lost lives and socio-economic hardship, as well as challenges to our security personnel, are matters for another day. Since my assumption of office as governor of Anambra State, we have been fighting these criminals head-on in partnership with the security agencies. While we have achieved significant success in Anambra, some businesses remain closed and movement remains limited on Mondays out of fear and anxiety. It is our belief that a lot still needs to be done, and paradoxically, Nnamdi Kanu might end up as a part of the lasting solutions to this insecurity bedeviling the southeastern part of the country. In January, the governor called for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of IPOB. Governor Soludo said he was ready to stand as a surety for Kanu if the Nigerian government could not release him unconditionally. According to him, Kanu was needed at the roundtable conversation to discuss the insecurity in the southeast. Waiting, he can't tell us naim be that. So may they release Nnamdi Kanu subito so that he can go back to his mama house, or that he has made a place for him to relax in Awka, which is the Anambra State capital, where he will be provided each time there might be need for him to appear in any court of law in Nigeria. But we doubt if this Oponko in Asorok can do all these things. Let me quickly play you a video here before we proceed to the Itiboribo, whom the president of Nigeria made the Minister of Education.
The president has said that he will go far away from Abuja.
Okay.
And there are jokes as much that he's probably going as much as going to Chad. Even if Nigerians reject him, the people in Chad will accept him. I mean, was that a joke or something?
It was. You know, the president is full of wisecracks.
So
when I see some people making too much of light-hearted things like that, some people just want to portray the president in an unsavory light. At all costs. President was just
wisecracks.
It's like a wisecrack. He had said it several times that he will retire to Daura, that he will not even stay in Kaduna in the first 6 months because Kaduna is too close to Abuja. He wants his peace. That is the position. I'll go to Nigeria, I'll go to Chad and all that. That's just wisecracks, and the president is full of wisecracks.
Why perhaps will anybody think that the president may not be accepted by Nigerians? Has he done so badly?
That is not an issue.
He's asking whether he has done so badly.
It's not to be considered at all. It's not to be considered at all. President is a Nigerian. He had always lived in Nigeria. Like he said, when he met Prince Charles, who is now King Charles, and that one asked him, do you have a house in London? He said, he told him, I don't have an inch of soil anywhere outside Nigeria. So how would he then consider leaving Nigeria?
But he has a lot of friends there. Yeah, I mean, he has
friends everywhere, including me.
You are a very good friend of his. Yeah. But you have an inch of soil outside of Nigeria, do you?
I'll be glad if I do.
Is it a factor that you have an inch of soil out of here? To use your own words.
It will not be illegal or criminal because, but it's not something I intend to really have. It doesn't thrill me.
You are going to quietly go back to.
All right, when I don't hear them, they say Buhari one wrong, go Niger Republic. This one, they hear the defendants. Say now wise cracks. They do wise cracks every day. And I say they do blah 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 blah. I beg you, this upon could go wrong, go Niger. All this one where they tell on us say they don't get any single property in Nigeria. How did they end up not developing Nigeria? If you own a land, if you own a village, if you own a house, you will love to develop that place and make it look livable. But you see that all these our government officials, they don't develop Nigeria. Rather, they go abroad and build mansions. They build mansions that will be counted amongst the developed cities. But in their own communities, in their own villages, they don't even want to grade roads. They are politicians. I knew nothing about education sector when Buhari made me education minister. Adamu confesses. So now they see him. Now the people where they pilot the affairs of education in the country, how will you be wise? How will you get to your destination? Why won't there be strikes? You get this, man. Nigerian's education minister Adamu on Thursday confessed that he knew nothing about the sector when he was appointed by Muhammad Buhari. Adamu was appointed by Buhari as education minister in 2015. Speaking at a valedictory section held in his honor with the ministry's officials and heads of parastatals in Abuja, Adamu thanked Buhari for trusting him with such a responsibility that he was not prepared for. This is a country. Tell me how you move forward when people who are not prepared to move education forward are made the ministers. He said, I didn't know anything about education except superficially. When Buhari decided to make me Minister of Education, there is nobody here sitting and looking at me. He was the first person I called. He said, what do you want to achieve? I said, I want to achieve good things, and these are my ideas as a learner. Only that, I want to achieve good things. Who would you ask today? And the person will say, oh, I want to achieve bad things. It doesn't exist. But this is how Nigeria works. It works by connection. If you are not Fulani now, guy, you're on your own. That is the reason why they have sidelined Ndi Igbo. No federal government position is good for Ndi Igbo. After the meeting, professors of education were called, and I told them that I wanted to achieve and let them put it in writing for me, and the professors did, and then we had a document. Adamu said he called some people to assist him work on a policy document on education because he was a novice in the sector. Una de hiara. All those all these people we Goromba we seen in the East, Igbo people, where are they? They made a novice, a quack, some road, Mdenaga primary school. Our Hakane education minister. Aga Yura Abada Fujua, no way in Hama. School are now about strike. Every day schools are going on strike. He said he shared his idea with them. They assisted him greatly, and he remained grateful to them for these years. Earlier, he said, I was busy making recommendations and suggestions to the president on whom to appoint into his cabinet in 2015. All of a sudden, he announced my name to my surprise, and that was it. He worked together till 2019. In 2019, I was told that the president that it was time for him to change his ministers, but I know him very well, and I knew it would be difficult for him to do that, but I decided to make it easy for him by promising to bring people that will do the job better for me and others who served as ministers in the first tenure. Now, so it talk, blah, 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 blah. Now, so they become Minister of Education today. We make the country, they move forward. When you carry Itibori Bogopu for position where a smart person with common sense can control, what do you expect? This is the result today. We are forward. This country, Nigeria, can never move forward because they are ruining your lives based on I know anybody, Oga, or your lower, no matter what you read in Nigeria, guy, except say maybe you get opportunity go better country wey go recognize you, you become nothing. You end up pushing wheelbarrow with your certificate, BSc, and the PhD. I come in peace, and I'll go see you now for the next update. Drop your comments below and share the video. Thank you.